going on, everyone? Gilman with Live Wealthy Stocks, back with another video today, taking a look at the weekly recap of Tesla stock, how it traded, some levels that we were watching, as well as taking a look at upcoming levels of support and resistance that we should be on the lookout for moving forward for this week, whether we break 600 or we see a little bit of a sell-off. So real quick, if you enjoy videos like this, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel if you are new, and comment down below what your thoughts on Tesla are moving forward, if you're currently invested in Tesla or anything else that you'd like to discuss regarding the stock market, and I'd love to chat with you guys down there. So let me hit record and we'll get right into it. Now, a lot of this I've already covered from a daily perspective, but a holistic recap of the week should be nice and after a weekend, just in case we've kind of forgotten some levels we're looking at, or if there's been any developments recently. So what we saw is after the huge kind of surge in Tesla stock from the 400s, after it being announced that it was going to be included in the S&P 500, went all the way from 400 to the 600s. Hit 607, but really that 600 level is what we're watching for as a point of resistance moving forward. So let's take a look at the 5-day chart. What we saw was, right out the gate on Monday, right? What we saw was a huge sell-off kind of right at the open, right? From the 600s all the way down to 554. Then it found stability, kind of went up to the 580s, sold off 560s into the close. Tuesday was a little bit of a red day as well. Actually, let's kind of recap, right? We got good news here that took us from 570s all the way down to 590s. I made a video on that, on what happened after hours. Well, S&P decided that it was going to be including the Tesla stock at full market cap, full float, which means a lot more buying of the Tesla stock to be included in some of those indexes that track the S&P. Great news for Tesla stock, went up, but again, similar pattern kind of the next day, where we sold off from the 590s to the high 70s, and then what we saw was after hour, again selling off, people taking some profits. Again, totally normal, right? The fact that a stock is going down does not always mean negative news for the stock. It's gone up from 400 to 600 in a matter of weeks. So someone who bought in 2 weeks ago or so is up 50% on their investment. It's okay for to want to just kind of cash out on that and take that, which drives the stock price down. So we went down to 541. The good thing that I like about Tesla stock though this past week is a lot of dips were definitely bought in, not to the same point as before the dip, but they were bought in, and then we look kind of strong come Wednesday. After hours, we got the news that Goldman had put a new price target on Tesla of $780, which again drove the stock price up from 560s to the 580s. So two things happened this week after hours that really drove the stock price up near the 600 level. Kind of traded sideways a little bit up on Thursday, and then Friday we were again trading in a much narrower range than we were at the beginning of the week, which is good. Pushing up, briefly broke 602 right in after hours, but then ended 5.99 and then 6 cents down, so 5.98. Let's take a look at the daily chart and see what we see. So as we see here, right, that this red candle is a huge sell-off we were talking about. Another red candle because we got that aftermarket, so we started higher, sold off a little bit. Then we went down, had a green candle, nice green candle coming up. Then we got that good news from Goldman, a little bit of a green candle there, and then this green candle right here. So some things to kind of note just from these 5 daily charts is the fact that we did gap up here from the 571 to 580s. That's a gap that we could potentially see being filled this week. And then from an indicator perspective, right, on the daily chart, what we have is we are riding this AEMA, right? So what we have is the daily chart Tesla. It tested the AEMA once this week, and it's been above it since kind of being announced in that S&P inclusion news. So we've closed above the AEMA for every single day. So I'm kind of watching that, right? There's a lot of different levels that I'm watching from Tesla, and I'll share all of them with you. You don't have to watch all of them, right? You can watch whichever you think is the best indicator for how Tesla stock is going to do. AEMA on the daily chart, to me, is a good indicator, and all the rest, right, are good levels of support. So we've got the AEMA at 569, right? We broke below it briefly, but closed above it on Wednesday. We've got The 21 and 34 EMAs coming down at 517 and 489. That could also act as good levels of support. But what I also want to do is take a look at the 4-hour chart, get rid of the EMAs, right? And what we'll see is on the 4-hour chart, a lot of times this week, the 20-day moving average held up as the 20-period moving average. I keep saying day, but if it's 4 hours, it's period, right? Because my period is not a day. What we see is, the past few days, we saw it kind of not perfectly bounce off there. We see it bounce off the day before. The Wednesday, right, with the sell-off we had, it broke below it. But if we go back to Monday and Tuesday, right, what we see is this bottom wick nicely bounce off of this 20-period moving average. So other than Wednesday, we've seen a lot of bounces off of this 20-period moving average, which is the reason why I'm watching that. And then the EMAs, right, again, we've got stacked EMAs, right? Again, long-term, strong, bullish trend for the stock. But what we see again here is on this 4-hour chart, hitting up against the 8 EMA, the candle's going below the 8 EMA, but we're closing the period above the 8 EMA. Similarly with Thursday, right? Testing that 8 EMA. Again, Wednesday we saw a sharp sell-off, so we broke it. But we did find support here, right, in the in the 34 EMA, right around 553, broke below it, but still closed above it. So those are the levels that I'm watching. I'm watching the 8 EMA, right, coming in right at 593, 21 EMA at 585, and then the 34 EMA at 573. If we break that, we've got the 55 EMA at 552 as well. And those are some levels that I'm watching. Now let's take a look at the candles once again, get rid of the EMAs and see what we see. On the downside, right, we've got this 550s level where we've kind of ended, where we find support here, the low of 541. If we go down, right, what I'm watching is all of those levels, yes, but also the highs and the lows that we've set previously. So on the upside, we have the high of 599, which we knocked out this high of 597. So the next high from a price perspective is the 607 level, because that's the highest that Tesla has ever been, ever, right? It's the highest point Tesla has ever been. So that's what I'm watching out for from the high level. And then it's a matter of where we kind of find enough buyers to get to the next price point, right? Apple, it could go, I said Apple almost because I do videos on Apple, but it could go to 620, it could go to 650, it could go to 700. Who knows? I'm not going to say it's going to go to this level. But on the downside, we've got today's low, Friday's low, right? Since we made a higher high, higher low of 585, 582 of the day before, and then we've got 541. So those are also levels that I'm watching out for a support. Now, I mean, if we were to draw out this line, again, this sort of trend line, if I will, what we'll see is whether or not we can kind of hold this level, right? I think that'll be key if we can hold this level or not, to see if we can, push up even more. This isn't the top line isn't perfect, right? I'm trying to draw it kind of like this. But what we'll see is, in the next couple of days, we will hit up against this line at the bottom. And so do we hold that line and push up, or do we break that line and kind of break this kind of nice uptrend channel that we are in? We'll see, only time will tell. And then the last thing for those of you guys that have been watching my videos, I'm looking out for is the 15 EMA on the 4-hour chart and the 180-day SMA on the 4-hour chart. Reason being, if we go back just a couple months, this is the EMA, and the last time we broke that EMA, we were kind of trading in the 500s, fell all the way till 341, which was perfectly that 180-day SMA. Again, went up, broke the EMA, fell all the way to SMA from the mid 400s to the high 300s. We were getting kind of close to that level here, right? Why do I always zoom in so much? Okay, we were breaking that here, right? Then we got some really good news about that, I don't know which one was this. So this must be the Goldman upgrade, and so we pushed up, and now we're above the 15 EMA. Too many lines that I'm looking at. The 15 EMA. So I'm watching this level. That 15 EMA coming in right now at 588. The SMA coming in at 465. So I'm not saying if we break that 588 that we fall all the way to 465, but that's a level that I'm definitely watching just because of what has happened the past few times we've broken that level. we could very well find support in the mid 500s, right? And the SMA will also slowly start to come up because it's, you know, as the price that we're trading at is above whatever the SMA is, the SMA will slowly start to creep up. I'm not saying we fall all the way to that, but that's a level that I'm closely watching just because what's happened in the past couple of times whenever we've broken below that. So I know that there's a lot to watch for Tesla stock, but I think, you know, having a lot to watch is better than kind of going off of one level to watch and then that level breaking and then not knowing kind of where the next support resistance level happening. I'm mostly watching for those EMAs that I mentioned on the 8 EMA on the daily chart, 8/21/34 on the 4-hour chart, and then this 15-day or 15 period 4-hour EMA to see if it can hold above that. So that's all I had for you guys. Hope you guys found this video helpful. If you did, drop a like and subscribe to my channel. I try to do videos like this relatively often, and comment down below if you were in Tesla or what your thoughts on Tesla are, and I'd love to chat with you guys down there. Hope you guys are all having an amazing weekend so far and have a great start to your trading week tomorrow. Let's remember to be a bit better every single day, and until next time.